security in Medellin. So,
in regards to safety,
Safety in Medellin.
We've had a few incidents in the cafe.
Today we want to share a video which we prepared for a long time now. And it's no coincidence that we never talked about safety in Colombia, because we wanted to make the best possible content out there so you get an idea how safety in Colombia is really like. So surely this is a very emotional topic where a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions. The mainstream media in the Western world is not really helping either, because they say Colombia, dangerous, drugs, whatever. And we want to give you the boots on the ground experience from our side and from many other expats, how dangerous Colombia really is. We're going to break it down in many sections. So what is safety in Colombia? Then the statistics, then opinions of many different expats, then my opinions and what is the downfalls, or what are the downfalls, why do people still get robbed and what happens to them. So first I want to do a disclaimer. Here in How to Expat we don't really do too much disclaimers, because we're not really worried about what trolls have to say about our videos. But here I really want to give you, want to get the point across. So first of all, we just assume here in this video that you don't have anything to do with drugs and that you don't have anything to do with prostitutes. So because with that, Colombia could be a really dangerous place for you. And the other thing is that we just assume that you have at least a little common sense about that you shouldn't wear your Rolex here in Colombia. Yeah, having said that, let's start with the video. So the first problem already arises. What is safety exactly? So I put it down in 3 categories. Safety of your life. So this means getting murdered, getting kidnapped, having an overdose of drugs, anything like that. And with that, I'm not really too concerned about that here in Colombia. Actually, not really at all. Because criminals here are interested in getting things that they want and bail as quickly as they can to not attract too much attention. So if you give them what they want, your life shouldn't be in danger. So if I walk around in my daily life here as an expat in Colombia, I'm not worried about losing my life. I'm not worried about getting kidnapped. So this is just what the mainstream media projects you, and that's not really the reality here in Colombia. Then the second thing is surely safety of your well-being. So if you get robbed on gunpoint or knife point, if you get drugged with some kind of substances, of course that's safety of your well-being. If you get broken into also. So if you get broken into, many people have 5 minutes to recover, but a lot of people they recover in like 1 week, 2 weeks, even months, where they don't feel safe anymore, or they leave the country. So this is the thing that people talk about. Safety is the number 2 here, safety of your well-being. And then the third part is safety of your stuff. So yeah, that means pickpocketing. So I'm not really worried about pickpocketing. Not that that doesn't happen here, but it's just so easily avoidable. It's not really an issue. So a quick summary: safety of your life, not really an issue in Colombia as a foreigner. Safety of your well-being, surely an issue of foreigners here in Colombia. And the third thing, pickpocketing, yeah, it's kind of very easily avoidable. So this doesn't really affect me in my daily life. So a safety video wouldn't be complete without talking about statistics. So we from the Western world, we really like numbers. So numbers is something that we can hold on to, even if there's no practical implication of those numbers in our daily lives. And this is exactly what it is with the safety statistics in Colombia. Because a lot of people talk about the homicide rate, and the homicide rates doesn't really apply to your daily life as a foreigner here, because in Colombia, as I said before, you won't get killed as a foreigner. It's just people that will get killed have something to do with drugs, drug traffickers. That stuff happens in the barrio. So yeah, but still going into the numbers, just because as I said, it wouldn't be complete without the statistics. So in Colombia, it's about 20 people die per year of 100,000 people. So the homicide rate is 20 people per 100,000 per year. So just now we have that number. What are we gonna do with that number? So to put it in perspective, it's really close to a traffic mortality rate. So the traffic mortality rate is around 17 per 100,000 people. So yeah, nobody in the US, nobody in the expat circles talks about the traffic safety, even though it's very similar. It's a very similar number. And yeah, this is just put into perspective. And even like that, when you compare it to numbers in the US, there are cities like Baltimore, St. Louis, New Orleans, and a lot of other cities that have a 50% bigger homicide rate that you will have here in the major cities of Colombia. So for me, looking at the homicide rate in Colombia to find out how safe the country really is doesn't really make practical sense. For me, it's like comparing the mortality rate in a traffic when you live in a pedestrian zone. So one thing has nothing to do with the other thing. So yeah, but what does it help you to know that? You're still on your computer back home, you are researching about Colombia, and you want to know how safe is it really? People say that, Sam from How to Expat says this, how is it really? So that's why we asked a lot of people during the last year what they think about safety, and here you go.
Security in Medellin. So here's how I see it. So long as you are in specific places and you have specific things that you do, you're fine. I mean, nothing really should happen to you. If you deviate from that, you know, something could happen. But basically, so long as you're not stupid about it, you're perfectly fine and safe in Colombia, specifically in Medellin. That's what I would say.
We can say that we have felt very safe in Colombia. I would say just like any other big city, you just be careful and you be cautious. You may not know all the areas, so you ask someone where you might want to go, where you might not want to go. I haven't found any reason to feel nervous or anxious when I walk the streets, and people that I met have been very friendly and supportive.
In regards to safety, I consider myself very lucky that I've never had any issues so far. And I consider the safety situation in Colombia in general as not of a major issue anymore, at least not in the cities. As every Latin American cities, you have to be careful, you have to apply common sense, but if you do that, you will be as safe as in any other country in the region.
Safety in Medellin. Me being here, especially African American from the United States, I can't say, I can only say that it's much safer here than I've ever experienced in the United States. And I haven't had a problem with going anywhere in the city at all. Even if you don't speak the language all that well, yeah, come here, just do the right thing, and you know, stay away from the bad crowd, you'll be just fine.
Okay, about the safety of Bogota, that's a question everybody makes. So I would say it is getting better and better by the days. Our government is working really hard to make it a safe place. We are not yet there, we still have to do a lot.
Yeah, my experience is I really feel safe here. I can go on the street also in the evening. Of course, there will be neighborhoods where you don't go in the evening, but I think that's everywhere, not especially here in Bogota. Yeah, I feel safe.
So in my whole time in Colombia, I've never been in an unsafe situation. Well, maybe I have, but I haven't ever felt unsafe. We've had a few incidents in the cafe where people they've just taken the opportunity. So I think if you just put something tempting in front of someone who's in a difficult situation, they're going to take advantage.
Excellent.
But the majority of people, very honest, lovely, and yeah, no problems. I felt more unsafe in London and Sydney, and yeah.
Okay, so more pickpocketing than really like violent crimes here.
Yeah, I haven't seen any violence. No violent crimes, nothing like that. Yeah, more like stealing money and things like that.
So I personally believe that Medellin is a fairly safe city. We as Colombians are aware Medellin had a long drug history, so people still believe that you will find someone who will murder you or kidnap you or threaten you in the middle of the street just for something related to drug deals. And the truth is that Medellin has been going through a big transformation process from the 70s until now, and it's a really nice place to be. Like, I feel safe here.
I feel like Medellin is extremely safe. First week when I moved here, I was kind of like a little bit more on edge walking through the streets, but after walking through them for like a couple weeks to a month, I feel a lot safer. Only thing I would suggest is like when you're walking, make sure to not have your phones out, because I have heard stories of people getting robbed. If you're going on dates, make sure to always watch your drink and just use common sense.
What do I think how dangerous Colombia is? So, first of all, I have to say, never ever happened something to me in Latin America. We've been to many countries. We live in Colombia full time now, so never ever happened anything to me. Said that, when you talk about Colombia, you get like two extremes of opinions around. The first one is surely, are you crazy? You go to Colombia, it's very dangerous. Didn't you know that they have drugs there and gang members and they're gonna kill, kidnap you, whatever. And this is far from the truth. So here you don't see gang members on every street corner. You don't see drug trafficking all the time. You won't get caught in crossfire, something like that. This is really what the mainstream media portrays. This is really surely what a lot of other people say, but they have no idea how life really is in Colombia. And then you get the other side of the spectrum. So the long-term expats who have been here for 4 months, they will say, oh, it's so easy, never happened anything to me. It's just like in every other European or US city. And that doesn't really reflect my truth either. So I have to say you have to be a little bit more careful here than in the US, and especially in many European cities. Because you as a newbie foreigner here in Colombia are a bigger target. Because you don't know the culture, you don't know the areas, you don't know maybe Spanish. What brings me to the next point, why people get still in trouble here in Colombia on the next point. So I don't want to say Colombia is the safest place on earth and nothing ever happened to a foreigner. But here we will have a look at what happened and why did it happen. So in the unfortunate event that people really get killed here, it's more or less two things. One I've already said, like drugs and prostitutes. We can leave that out of the way. And the other thing is that they have resisted the robbery. So yeah, this is really rule number one. If somebody points a gun at you, if somebody points a knife at you, no matter, everybody will tell you that, every like special agent or whatever will tell you that, just give them what you have and that's it. Because from the stories you read about the people that really get in big trouble here in Colombia, this is surely the biggest point. They resist the robbery. So don't do that. And then the other thing is, the other 3 points I would have is, first of all, don't look like the dumb gringo. So make sure that you wear more or less the clothes they have. Make sure that you don't speak loud English all the time. Especially a lot of US people don't know that, but people from the US tend to speak louder. That's just a cultural thing. You wouldn't even notice that in the US, but here in other cultures, you really stand out because you speak louder. So yeah, be aware of that and try to lower your voice a little bit when you're outside. Then the other thing, trust the right people. So here in Colombia, when something happens, it's more or less for the reason that, that you trust the wrong people. That's especially true with guys trying to pick up women. So yeah, it sounds great that you're in a bar and can take away a lady for one night. But you have to be very careful with that. You have to be aware that, there are a lot of people around out there that try to take advantage of you, even in a very bad way. That means like drug you, rob you, whatever. So be very careful, especially with that. So the next point surely is walking around at night or in a lonely area. So stuff really happens when something happens in a lonely area at night. So if you're out and about and want to go back home after a party, take an Uber, take a taxi. That's just more or less common sense, but you should know that from the stories I've heard, one of these 3 rules has been broken. Other than that, nothing really bad should happen to you. So by the way, at the moment you're watching a video of our Medellin e-guide. So if you want to find out more practical information about Expat and even more about staying safe in Medellin, make sure to check it out now. The link is in the description down below. So all in all, what do you have to take away from this video? So if you're thinking about coming to Colombia, either as a tourist or as an expat, and safety is the only thing holding you back, yeah, just come here. It's not too big of a deal. A lot of expats live in Colombia, they have a great life here, and safety is not too big of a concern for them. Then do your research, try to fit in. Know what you can expect from Colombia here, try to learn at least a little bit Spanish, and you will have a great time in this great country with beautiful weather, beautiful people, and just an all around great experience. I hope this video helped. As I said, if you want to find out more about safety and practical information about Colombia, go check out our e-guide. The link is in the description below. See you next time.